Hi everybody from John's Model Works. Here we have an update on the long dormant EAS Cortez from Babylon 5 project. I'm just trying to fit all the pieces on screen so you can see them here. So this does only includes the large pieces. All the detail pieces around the front hanger I'm just leaving off for now. But the big news that I have is I have been very busy on this rear engine section. I will hold this so you can see it clearly. You can see that I have, there we are, you can see I have all the front engine grills in place. Those are individual pieces I had to glue on and then sculpt to make them fit, and that's why there's this black paint all over the ship here to try and get the lines visible where I could see any gap between the front piece of the grill, which is a little thin sliver I had to glue on, and the rest of the ship. But this part of the ship is looking pretty good. This is basically done. Here is the rear truss for the ship. I decided to take a spare truss that I had, and I will eventually glue these two together because the rear truss is much longer than the front truss. So I'm just going to take these two trusses and stick them together. We've had for a while, we've had the center section here that rotates. This is nothing special. This is basically how it was printed. The very front piece here, with the hanger bay and the ridged piece on top, that had to be reprinted in this darker gray Ministry of resin material, and you can see that there's no gap and no warping on the piece like on the previous print with the ABS-like resin. This piece was pretty badly warped. The two hanger pieces didn't fit together well. There was a large bow here to this piece, so I've reprinted them, this whole piece, all these open gaps, and this is all Ministry of resin to handle the easily warpable pieces. So those are in good shape now. The thing I really wanted to show you is I have finished this center section here with all the vents and radiators on it. This is actually only partially glued together. It doesn't look it, but it is. These radiator fins are pinned on. There's a little pin inside each leg like this, holding it in place so it stays pretty firmly in there. So that's nice. All of these individual little side vent pieces, these are pinned with one single pin in place. And if you look kind of close, let me zoom in here a touch. Give me a minute. Okay, you see a little bit of a white material there? That's just some styrene. I made a spacer of the correct thickness to hold all these pieces the right spacing from the bottom lip there. So these are all perfectly spaced between the top and the bottom, and the gap between them all is identical. I made spacers to hold them all in place, and then I used my Proxxon Mini-mill to drill a hole straight down through this hole here in the center, all the way down into the body of this thing, and then stick a pin all the way through. So these four pieces and the four pieces just like it on the opposite side are all pinned in place perfectly. The other thing I had a lot of fun with was when I glued the top and bottom half of this large section together, there was some gaps and mismatches, but what I did was I used 5-minute epoxy and let the excess kind of bleed out from the sides. It kind of spooged out from the sides, and then I got on the mini-mill again and milled this surface and this surface. Let me turn that so you can see. You can see that's perfectly flat and perfectly smooth. Thank you, Proxxon Mini-mill. And let me just pop some of these guys out of here. There's that pin, and you can see that the inside of this groove is perfectly uniform. The bottom of the groove is perfectly flat. I don't want to lose that pin there. I'm just going to grab that. No, he's going to stay there. Anyway, it's perfectly flat, perfectly smooth in there. So I'm very, very happy that I got to play with my Proxxon Mini-mill. I had to take a slight crown off of this piece here too on the bottom. So I mini-milled this flat on the bottom, mini-milled the bottom of this trench perfectly flat. So everything's perfectly flat, perfectly smooth, aligns perfectly well now. So this piece is essentially done too. These small pieces here, these vents here, these will be painted before they're assembled, so that I can get some paint inside the trough there and paint the pieces much better before I put them in. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with that, but I'm really excited that I'm making progress on this thing and I'm getting a lot of pieces done and that I'm moving forward. So next video we may actually have some more pieces assembled together, and we're just having fun with this thing. Okay? So thanks a lot for watching. John's Model Works put together the EAS Cortez. Bye now.